For we know it never gets easier, but with consistency, motivation, and this discipline, it will get better. Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. I'm your favorite host, Joy. So excited to see you all. Of course, let's get into the hairstyle. Yes, let's get into the hairstyle. Yes, it was my birthday, so you see this. Happy birthday to me again. Yay, happy birthday. But I'm so excited to have my guest Anthony as we talk about that wallet, how he came up with the name, what is the driving force behind about that wallet, and so much more. But make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear see your comments and read your comments and any ideas or whatever you have to about the wallet, and or if you have any ideas to make the show even better, we would love to hear from you. But as you all know, we're just a couple of weeks away from voting. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you who to vote for. But please make sure that you go out and vote, for it's your civic duty. So please make sure that you go out and vote. Is very important. November 5th is the test. There's no makeup. After that, that is it. So please make sure that you vote. If you're capable and able, make sure that you go out and vote. So right now, we're going to bring my guest, Anthony, up onto the show. What it do, Anthony?
What up? What's going on, everybody? Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful time. Thank you so much, Joy, for allowing me to be on your platform. How you been?
Good. So we're going to jump right in. Can you tell people a little bit about you? And we go right from there.
All right. So a little bit about me. I've been, grew up in Baltimore, had, a impoverished neighborhood. I didn't know that I was in impoverished, upbringing, but, my mom did what she could, dealing with 3 kids and under her wing and, made the best of it. And so just coming out of that time frame, going into college, being the first one in my immediate family to actually go through college, finish college, and then I decided to go get my master's. So now I'm the first one to go get the master's degree, and then decided, you know what, hey, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing, but life happened. So during that time frame, went into a long-term relationship, thinking that everything was great, but it became known that I really realized that I wasn't myself, and that's one of the things that I realized, like, hey, I need to separate myself from this particular relationship and really go on my own path and try to figure out life again. And doing that process, that's how I came up with the About That Wallet show, mostly because it was something that I felt as though this would have been great for me to know as I was going through the trials and tribulations of, pursuing an education, because that's what you're told to do when you go to school. When you're in grade school, you're like, hey, you got to make sure you go to college. You got to make sure you go to college. You hear about ROTC a little bit, but military wasn't really a thing that was talked a lot during my time frame. So I was like, well, let's figure this thing out. But I really wanted to create this show so that it could have somebody that looked like me, sound like me, and actually be able to relate to me when I was growing up. So that's one of the reasons why I started the About That Wallet show.
Oh, wow. Yes, about that wallet. So you gave us a little explanation about that wallet, right? So is it really is it safe to say is geared around, how to be, financial savvy, to make sure how to really live and how to really obtain, overflow cash. Can you dive a little deeper about the wallet if someone is wondering if they're trying to even how to save or, just the definition about that wallet?
Yes. So About That Wallet is a show that help you build strong financial habits so that you feel confident when you're talking about money, when you're making money, and even when you're spending money, because a lot of people have fear of making too much money because of the people that they hang around. They was like, oh, this person always asking me for money, or my mom or my dad is always asking me for money. My brother and sister is always asking me for money. I always got to do a little bit more. And then I feel like I'm broke because people keep asking me for it. And my show is catered to help you find that balance, find a way to actually have those healthy conversations with your family by setting up those barriers and really redefining your zero. And what
Mhm.
I mean by that is when you say, like, hey, this is all I have, even though if you have $4,000 in the bank, that's all you have, because that $4,000 is set for when your car breaks down. Who's going to be out there to help you out? Because everybody else asking you for a handout. Now you got to work extra hours just to kind of make back the things that you need to. And people have always found a way. When you let them do it on their own, they will find a way to make it happen. It just might not be with your dollars instead.
Right.
But they don't need to know what's in your bank.
Yeah. Definitely don't need to know because that's far from what's going to happen. And as you stated, a lot of people do find a way when the rubber hits the road, right? Um,
Mhm.
it's sad to say that many of us have to live like that. A situation like you're living comfortably, you're fine, but it just takes one hole in the bottom that could really knock everything out, and you're back at the water's back over your head or deep over your head, and you just trying to even just get to the pull the nose to the surface. Now, what has like been like a crisis that really help you to really focus on about that wallet, to really strengthen it, to really make it strong, to where people can really tune in to be to be financial savvy, so they don't have to go to that part where they have to fall out, or how can they be, for better word, for lack of saying, is be safe than sorry. How can I be a stronger saver, or what do I need to generate, or now that I am comfortable, so I can stay comfortable.
Right. So you just gave me a lot of nested questions there. So I'm gonna take the broad approach.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
came up with a lovely acronym that kind of help people who are new to trying to figure this out. And as a takeaway for you all, this is something that I kind of conjured up over the time and over the years of doing this podcast and going through money, is that think of a bike. So when you get on the bike, you first start with your training wheels, you're riding around, and then you take one of the training wheels off. You like kind of leaning on that other side of the crutch. And then you like, you know what? I think I can kind of lean off. Let me bend them back a little bit. Not off yet. You just want to bend them back just a little bit because you like, okay, I got my guardrails up. And then you take them off and then you off and going. So think of that moment of when you're actually going through that process. So the B in bike stands for the budget. You need to know where you're going. This helps solidify your why. So you start off with the B. Then the I is the income, because granted, you can cut as much as you can. That's where that budget kind of gives you that hindsight of where your money is at, where you're spending it at, and so forth. You'd be like, I really need to make some more money. So dust off that resume, build up your income. That's what the I is for. The K is for knowledge. So knowledge is really the understanding of what is it that I don't know that I need to know to get me to that next level. And really going out, and when you're looking for mentors, you want to look for a mentor that's more of like, you have to come up with a question already. And that mentor is the person that can help you with that question. There's a difference between a mentor and I always call them a coach. So
Yeah.
the mentor is there for the long term, the coaches are there for short term. So you need to know the difference between the two. So when you're going out seeking for knowledge, you need to make sure you know what you're going for and asking for. And it
Mhm.
brings you down to the E, which is the execution. You need to do the work. You need to put in the effort to make this happen. Now that you got the knowledge, you got the extra income, well, you actually know what income you need to make. You already got the knowledge on what you need to do that. Now you need to go execute. This
Mhm.
is where you start bringing in, hey, my resume needs to be overlooked by like 5 or 6 people before I put this out there. I need to look at some other YouTube videos to start making these changes. I can either go to some of these multiple large language model platforms, aka Chat GPT, Gemini, or even what you call it, Gourd or something like that, that X has.
Mhm.
You can ask all these different tools, but this is where the bulk of it comes into play. This is where you put in the rubber to the road and you're going places. Okay, so remember it's bike, BIKE. You Can't go wrong. And that's the broad approach to the nested question.
Yeah, you know, and I guess just speaking from, I guess speaking from people who really lacks cash, right? They
Yeah.
really lack the knowledge, and people have understanding, but school really don't teach you that, right? And it's sad to say that you have to wait till you become an adult to learn this information, and sometimes, for lack of saying, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
If you choose, because sometimes we're in a situation where our debt is so high, we can't even trying to get out or trying to do better. We already done created a 12 feet deep grave for ourselves to get out. Not to say you can't, but that's when the knowledge really try to trump the experience. But we already in this situation, it's hard for us to get out. So
Yeah, there's
many.
a I'm
Mhm.
sorry to bring it, but
Oh, no
there's a
problem.
difference between a like you're in a survival mode versus you're in a coasting mode.
Hmm.
Because when you're in that survival mode, yes, everything seems like it's so extreme. It's so many things you need to deal with, and you just can't find a way out.
Right.
And one of the ways about finding a way out is that you need to look at your spending habits. You need to think
Yeah.
about your why because there's so
Yeah.
much knowledge out there. You can learn anything you want to. And I feel as though it's never too late to get out of debt or get back to zero. It's just how are you going about it? Why you're good? Why are you trying to get back to zero in the first place?
Right.
Think about why did you even get into debt in the first place?
Yeah.
And now, because you really need to be by yourself for a little bit. And I always think about people as seeds. So when it's dark and rainy, that's when seeds grow the most. You
Hmm.
actually, the soil is softer, you digging your roots in, you learning more about yourself, and then you get some sunlight.
Mm.
Then you're like, okay, let me get my energy back. I'm resting, get my sunlight, getting taking in this knowledge. Now when the dark time comes, which means that nobody's around you, you up here working again, you grinding, you doing that 1% change that actually help you understand what your finances are so that you can actually know who you are to be better. Not better than you were before yesterday, or
Hmm.
than you were before 2 days ago. But you will hit a rock bottom because the weather changes. It gets cold. The plants shrivel up a little bit. It's okay, but their roots are so heavily rooted, they know who they are.
Yeah.
That once that frosty frost, come on. What I'm
Mm.
saying? You blooming in the springtime. Now you cook it. What I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's time for that harvest. Like it's
Yeah.
so much can happen. And I just want people to realize that you have what it takes. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your why. Don't give up on the people. If you don't have it in yourself, reach out to somebody else. Be like, hey, I don't have a why for me,
Hmm.
but can you be my why? Just
Mm.
to show somebody else wrong or to prove somebody that you can really do this. So I'll be excited to have you on the show just to talk about, you know, what you did to get out of the rut that you were in.
Right.
And I can tell you for me, all I had to do to get me out of my rut and out of my head was
Hmm.
actually write things down on a calendar.
Mm.
I took each day, write it out. I didn't talk to my friends about money because, they don't know. I just decided, like, set my boundaries. Like, hey, I ain't got it this week.
Yeah.
I, really, I had no money, no money at all. I was like, shoot, they don't need to know that.
I know.
But I'll be there with a drink the next day. Like,
Right.
got
But
$2 left.
I think that's truly important where it just comes with the mental, but that's where it
Yeah.
starts. If you really want to make a change for tomorrow, it really prepares you. You got to
Mhm.
prepare for today, for to tomorrow. So we're going to continue with my guest, Anthony, as we return back after these messages. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. And please make sure if you like to patronize our talk show, please make sure you do follow our QR codes at the end. And we'll be right back after these messages. Want to elevate your game? Want to reach an engaged audience? Have no fear. Advertise your business on our podcast. Connect with us, the Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast, and let's grow together. Email us, and we surely look forward to hear from you. Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you all here. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. We're going to continue to talk to my guest, Anthony, as we talk about the why and how important that you before we went on break, you made a great point where it's a mental thing. And setting boundaries. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I think they just try to keep up with the Joneses, or to prove that they have to have people live in their head. If they to really, really want to get their finances on top, they really have to just take a pause and push back. Now, have there's been a time where someone on your show, or you met someone in person who really have taken a setback, and what strategies did they use as to say, you know what, I have to start where I'm at to really build, now that I'm in an overflow, now that money come easily? Have you ever met anyone in that situation?
Yes, I was looking back. I didn't have his book readily available, but
Hmm.
his name is Ed Combs, Coambs. And one of the things that he talked about in his book was losing one of his best friends. He was a firefighter. And, he went out and did everything he's supposed to do, talk about his buddy. And his buddy introduced him to this young lady at the bar and stuff like that. But um, during that time frame, his buddy had went out to actually put out a fire, and he didn't come out of that fire, and he lost him that day. And because he was able to meet this lady who now is his wife, it really changed something in him and actually added value on created a bigger why for what he does day in and day out to provide value to the financial community. He's now a financial therapist, but it didn't start off that way.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying, it's not too late to kind of change your trajectory, because
Yeah.
his wife was a doctor.
Mhm.
Why would a doctor and a firefighter, those incomes are completely different. So, and having that understanding is like, maybe I got a story wrong. If he hears this, I do apologize. Said I got to reread your book if that's the case. But one of the things is that, having that understanding and that knowledge of, to dig deep, to really reach out when you need help,
Mm.
to being open. And it's okay for guys to cry. And we do need that moment where we have to really dig deep and say, we don't have everything figured out. We still trying to figure it out. We still trying to make the next day possible. But one of the things that we always say in the financial community is that personal finance is personal. So
Mm.
your why is personal. And we're just here as guides on the side, not sage on the stage. It's an old teaching term. So I can tell I was an elementary teacher. So fun stuff. But that's one of the things that you got to do. You really have to just have to communicate, find your circle of friends. And if you can't find an immediate circle of friends, what I mean by finding circles, you can find forums, you can find people who are in that industry that you want to be in. You can come on podcasts and actually, just kind of list out things like, hey, can I book a 15-minute call with you? I just got a lot of stuff on my chest. You can
Mhm.
do that with on my channel. You can do that, schedule a 15-minute call if you need to. It's okay. We can work things out. Joy, I'm not sure if you have something like that where people can just kind of call if they got some things on the side, but
Well, we will love to hear your story. Of course, we're
yeah.
always looking for guests just to share, because I think that's in our community. When I say in our community, it could be any community, right? Where people really just don't want to open up, knowing that help is right next door, right
Hmm.
next, and start with the conversation. And part of Coffee with Joy is normalizing those difficult conversations and trying to find your team, trying to find your tribe, trying to find people who are financial savvy. How can I get out of that rut? Even though I may
Hmm.
be 38, how do I get out of this rut to really be financial savvy? Because right now it doesn't look right. My circle does not encompass a money flow, meaning that they don't understand money as well. When I
Right.
talk, they don't know. So how do I get out of that? And sometimes that conversation can be very scary, and people don't know how to get out of that. So, but people have gotten out of it, like you say, the author Combs, if I'm saying his name
Ed
correctly,
Gomes, yep.
and Combs, yeah, how they got out of the rut, how they were able to climb and really look to say, okay, it starts with today to prepare for a better future. So
Yeah.
you have to find that team, get around people. That's what your circle have to encompass, because you don't know the language. You don't know how to really execute that conversation of saying, okay, I want to save, but you may have money, but I'm still not saving the way that I want to. So how can I be overflowing? Because no one's exempt for problems, right? But at the
Mm,
same time, it's not like we're saving money just for problems, but we want to make sure that we're prepared. We want to know that if we don't have all, we have something so that we're not falling beneath the bridge. So it really starts there. So that's just part of, Coffee with Joy. So we have that conversation, and your testimony could help somebody else, coming on, or just being open. Not to say that, I'm not a therapist, but just having that conversation, hearing yourself speak about it, really would know how to execute and how to direct and form your questions correctly on how to be money savvy.
yeah, and podcasting is therapy to me. So
Mhm.
I have my moments. I think I cried on a live show once,
Mm,
and because it just, you lose people along the way that you're not ready for them to go. But
yeah.
as they say, God always have a plan, and
Mhm.
it's not ever your plan. It's just when they're ready to go, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And one of the things is that we're here for a short time, so do the best you can and try to make the best of it.
Hmm. And really enjoy life. So what is your advice if someone who's saved but still try to enjoy life, but probably still not at that pinnacle? Like, what are some ways that people can still enjoy life even if they're on a budget?
Yeah.
Of course, we heard bike. I
Right.
want to make sure I got bike together. Budget, income, knowledge, and execute. You
There you
guys,
go.
you look at a good acronym is always good, because I got my bike. I listen, I got my
There you go. There you
I
go.
have
You
my
pedal,
bike.
pedal. Right.
Got my bike. So what is like a good way for people to still enjoy life, but still probably, I'm not under the bridge, but I'm dangling under it. Like, what are some advice that you would give someone to continue to enjoy life and not feel like so rigid, like I can't spend this dollar, I can't,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, keep in mind this is for educational purposes only, so don't come try to sue me for anything.
That part.
So right, one of the things is that check out your hometown and city. All of us are taxpayers of our local communities, so that means that there are actual pamphlets that would actually you can actually take advantage of. So community programs like in my community in Maryland, they actually have ability where I can learn how to play the guitar. I can learn a new language. I can actually go spin class. I can do yoga class. I could do all these different classes, and I only have to pay like $8 a session. And if
Mm,
you try to go to a private session, they usually charge them about $120 for these
yeah.
sessions, and you get the same instructors.
Mm,
So why not take advantage of your taxpayer dollars?
mhm.
Another thing to have fun is you trying to do outdoors. Take a moment to look at your local farms. They do offer pick to what do they call it? Um, I think you can pick your own. That's what it's called. You can pick your own. So if you want to pick your own fruits and vegetables for the season, they do it every season for different fruits and vegetables. So check out your local farms for that. You can go for nature walks, take photos. They actually have in those community programs where if you single and you new in this area or any area, you can actually just go out, take photos, do nature walks, do some aerobics classes. Like if you're on the cheap. Now, I know we talk about different activities, but I do want to talk about how to save for those activities. Even though they're like $8, $10 a session, take a moment, just put $1 away.
Yeah.
That's how I started my investments.
Mm,
Is that I call it the drip money,
mhm.
or my seed money, and what that is like, I'll take $1. I would say like my goal is to try to save up $2 a day.
Mhm.
So I'll try to put $1 away each week. So that'll be like $7.
Yeah.
Small change, right? So I'll put $7 away, see if I can hold it. Then I'll do it for a whole month. By the end of the month, I should have $28 and should be looking good. Like I said, only 7 days out the week, 4 days. You can do the math there. If
Mhm.
there's 30 days, whatever, but it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother week. Okay. By
Right.
the time we get around to it. So, we go from there. And with the $28, you're just trying to say, like, hey, can you actually hold on to it or you want to increase it again? Like $7 wasn't enough. I can actually do more. So then you can kind of continue on to build your seed money up that way and put it in a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account, or you might hear it in the financial term, a HYSA. And that gives you the ability to kind of save anywhere. Some of these banks are doing about 4.7%. Most
Mm,
of your regular high end banks, or like Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo, will give you 0.001% for your savings accounts or some of your checking accounts. Like, they're not giving you really anything. So check out for some other banks for your high yield savings accounts. I know Schwab has one, and so many others. Just look for them.
Mhm.
Ally Bank and so forth. But these are ways that you actually can grow your seed money, so you can have it, call it your fun fund, and actually go out and have those entertainment things on the cheap and at your leisure. So you might be able to find a friend that'd be like, "Hey, come with me to go with these tickets. I got some free tickets from, anything. Try out these things."
But it starts there, though. Just in case you get out and you never
Mhm.
know who you may meet. But I know, Anthony, you have wealth. You're a wealth of knowledge of so much information. How can the people find you if they're looking to learn a little bit more? I know that we only surface conversation here, but to really get in depth and really talk to you about something very direct and specific, how can they find you and how can they get in contact with you?
Yes, you can find me on all social media platforms at About That Wallet. And when I mean all of them, I believe I am on all of them, except for some of the hidden, like low end ones. But you can also listen to my podcast at About That Wallet on all of your podcast platforms, Amazon, Good Pods. You got all of them, and even on YouTube. So I'm also there as well.
Awesome. So before we conclude the show, Anthony, what is something that keeps you going? Because with all this wealth and knowledge, I know you're sitting big, better than Trump. Uh, but you got all the money flows. But yeah, what keeps you going? Just mentally, physically, emotionally, to keep About That Wally going, and just about your business as a whole.
Yeah, one of the things that keep me going is my audience. It really is the people who listen to the show, listen to how things are going, and really want to make sure that I'm doing well. And so those are the people that really keep me going. So I really have to thank them for everything.
Awesome. So again, thank you, Anthony, for being on Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you. Yay! Woo! Of course, you are the best. Please make sure that you tune in to Coffee with Joy. We'd love to have you on our show. So please make sure that you email us or DM at the Coffee with Joy show at gmail.com. If you would like to patronize our company, please do so. Just follow the QR codes here, and any amount will do. Any amount will help with our talk show. Well, as you always know, if it's a weekday or weekend, it is Coffee with Joy. Until then, you all live life on purpose and see you at the next show. See you all soon. Bye bye.